President Joe Biden has said he supports canceling up to $10,000 in student debt per borrower. But as News Nation Michael Schor says, he shows us congressional Democrats are now pushing for much more.
We are here today to introduce our proposal to cancel $50,000 in student debt.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, along with several of his Democratic congressional colleagues, are pushing the Biden administration for executive action providing student loan debt relief up to a maximum of $50,000 per person.
Long before COVID-19 ravaged our country, put so many New Yorkers and others out of work, people across the country have been crushed by the overwhelming loan burden that they've had.
It is unusual pressure on a president of their own party barely over a fortnight into his presidency, but Democrats see an opportunity during a time of stimulus.
Canceling student loan debt is the single most effective executive action that President Biden can take to kickstart this economy.
Republicans like Iowa Senator Joni Ernst oppose the action while still acknowledging the crisis. She says it's about fairness.
I think it's very aggressive, and I've had a lot of people come to me and say, I've had student loan debt, I've repaid my student loan debt. Why is it that everyone else will get a free pass?
In a Friday tweet, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki indicated a White House willing to work with Congress or perhaps unilaterally, saying, our team is reviewing whether there are any steps he can take through executive action, and he would welcome the opportunity to sign a bill sent to him by Congress.
While we work with members of both parties in the Congress, there are steps that we can and must take right now.
President Biden has shown a willingness to address the situation. New York Magazine contributor Ben Jacobs says there are reasons why Democrats are pushing so hard for executive action.
The issues with getting a bill through Congress and then dealing, of course, with not just the ability to get Democrats uniformly behind it, but to deal with the 60-vote filibuster supermajority means that getting anything through Congress is very hard these days. And when the president can do it unilaterally, it cuts that Gordian knot and makes everything much, much easier to accomplish.
While engaging the issue thus far, the president is only offering a pause on interest.
They still pay the bill as it stands now, but there will not accrue interest, and they don't have to begin to pay until September.
In an op-ed published last November, economist Adam Looney of the Brookings Institution cautioned against such action, saying its largest effect would be to improve the finances of college-educated workers who have already tended to be winners in an economy marked by ever-rising inequality. It's that inequality that has Democrats like Representative Ayanna Pressley attaching urgency to this call for relief.
That we can provide sweeping relief to millions of families, help reduce the racial wealth gap, and begin to build the groundwork for an equitable and just long-term recovery.
Many Democrats ran on closing that racial wealth gap and see this as a road not just on race, but also age.
There is very little that you can garnish a Social Security check for, but right now there are over 100,000 Americans whose Social Security checks are garnished to pay student loan debt.
Joni Ernst says Republicans want to tackle the crisis, but not in this way.
I think there are other ways of working through this, and certainly renegotiating interest rates and so forth.
For now, both sides press on.
We think this is great economics, great politics, and most of all, great humanity.
Michael Schor, News Nation, Los Angeles.